July.
We're up.
Yep. you are.
Okay, we're back into regular session. I'll ask the attorney to speak on the executive session.
No action was taken in executive session and no matters were addressed other than those that were stated as part of the motion. Thank you for your time. That concludes my report.
Okay, at this time, are there any comments about the hangar expansion at the airport? If not, I will close the public hearing on the T hangar expansion at the airport. Okay, reading communications.
Okay. We have the County of Warren basic financial statements, required supplementary information, supplementary federal awards information for the year ended December 31, 2021 from Drescher and Malecki. That's on all of your desks. Capital District Off-Track Betting Corp's financial reports dated May 31, June 30, and July 31, 2022. Jefferson County Board of Legislators, resolution number 270 of 2022, affirming support for the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and opposing the recently enacted Concealed Carry Improvement Act of 2022. Washington County Board of Supervisors, resolution number 221 of 22, supporting Adirondack Community College Capital Improvement Plan for 2023-24 and the total amount of $9,851,095. Washington County Board of Supervisors, resolution number 223, approving contract between Adirondack Community College and its faculty association for years 2020 through 2025. Washington County Board of Supervisors, resolution number 224, approving contract between Adirondack Community College and the Educational Support Personnel Association for 2021 through 2025. And Washington County Board of Supervisors, resolution number 225 of 2022, appointing member of the counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency and Civic Development Corporation.
Okay, those are communications. We'll have reading of resolutions.
Proposed resolution numbers 520 through 574, along with the report of Committee on Assessment Rolls and proclamation numbers 39 through 43 were distributed to the Board of Supervisors and posted to the Warren County website on October 18th, meeting the requirement and the rules of the board. The proclamations are number 39, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, number 40, Fire Prevention Week, number 41, Youth Substance Awareness Month, number 42, Green Light for Military Service County, and 43, National Disability Employment Awareness Month. There are also two floor resolutions labeled as numbers 1 and 2. A motion is needed to waive the rules. That one is labeled as floor resolution number 1.
Somebody want to make the motion? Motion by Supervisor Wild, second by Supervisor McGowan to waive the rules. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed.
I'm sorry.
Who opposed?
Three.
Can-
I have Ms. Bramer, Ms. Hogan, and Mr. Beatty opposed, correct?
Okay,
So for resolution number 1 is now resolution number 575. So you need a motion to bring floor resolution number 2 to the floor.
yeah, motion bring forward, motion by Supervisor Strauss, second by Supervisor Wild. Discussion? Supervisor Brink or Supervisor Hogan?
Wasn't this rejected in committee?
No,
No.
It wasn't discussed and
it was discussed and it want the board to act on.
why didn't it come through committee then?
It did.
It was.
Why is it a floor resolution then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all right for me to talk.
We gotta speak to that. We can speak to that.
So this did the resolution to amend the rules to remove the second board meeting and the 2/3 majority required for the creation of new positions did come to the board.
Yeah.
I don't remember which month. I think it was a month or 2 ago, but it failed here at the board. And I was requested to put it in as a floor resolution, and that's why it's before you again.
So it didn't come through committee as a
This time it did not come through committee. It did originally come from the legislative
attached.
committee.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It was
Thank you.
combined. Supervisor Bramer?
Thank you. The description of this talks about eliminating the second monthly meeting. Is it also eliminating the 2/3 for the? Okay,
No.
thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion on floor resolution? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? That's carried.
For resolution number 2 is now resolution number 576. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is there any, that we have a lot of roll calls, is there any objection to combining the roll call votes for resolutions 561 through 569?
What was that number again?
561
Five
to
sixty-one.
569, they're
Oh.
mostly they're all DPW related stuff, increasing capital projects, establishing capital projects.
Okay.
One is appropriating funds for up yonder from their reserve, and then the appropriation of funds from the general fund to the sheriff's budget for the bargaining unit and non-bargaining unit salary increases.
Oh,
What's the pleasure?
I move that we combine them.
We don't need a motion. I just need consensus that no one's objecting.
Does anybody object to combining them?
No.
We'll move forward then. Thank you. Public comment on any of the proposed resolutions. Anybody wish to address the board on any proposed resolutions? Being none? Any request for roll call or discussion by board members? Supervisor Strauss,
Yeah, thank you. Could I have a roll call on,
can you speak up a little bit?
sorry, could I have a roll call on 535? And I support it. But you know, are they gonna use the standardized version or model format that New York State has? Who will be presenting it? Why every year? Why can't it be done every 2 years? And, you know, I'm not opposed to it. I'm in favor of it. But shouldn't that have gone through Legislative Rules and Government Operations Committee?
Yeah, we didn't see it.
I know it fits our mission statement, and I do not know about the mission statement of the committee it came through. In any event, I don't know. I just thought it should come through committee and be vetted a little bit more. And why is it every year? And why wouldn't every 2 years work? All right, so roll call on that, please. And roll call on 542.
542.
540, was it 2 or 6?
542.
42. Supervisor Hogan.
Thank you. I just want to draw everybody's eye to 572. Equalization rates. I'm going to take a moment here. If you look at Johnsburg and draw your finger across that beautiful 100 number there. That is the first time we have ever seen that. And I'm incredibly proud that we're there.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I don't imagine you took any heat over.
Any other discussion on resolutions by any members of the
We
board?
did it.
Supervisor Bramer.
On 545, this is salary increase for a particular person. And, you know, we've been told we can't do this in the middle of the year, that we should be waiting for budget season. So I'm going to vote no on this. Thank you.
Supervisor Bruno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 535. Check the wording there. I don't know if you want equality or equity.
Yeah.
Usually it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equity and equality are two different terms.
You're right.
So you want to reword that or equity?
I think
Leave it as is.
Yeah, it's a typo, probably equity.
I'm impressed coming from an engineer.
I will,
Myself.
we'll have the clerk correct the version of it was
Got it.
finalized.
Thank you.
Any other discussions? Yes, Supervisor Wild.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just 542, let's go back to that. That's the ARPA reassignment. I'm going to vote no. And the only reason is that we've lost two very competent voices. Michael Biddle, Michael Swan, the two M's. They both had great experience and insight into the business community, our economy, and our finances. I'd like to see some additional voices with those types of qualifications on ARPA. And if we can't get that, then I will vote no. Thank you.
Supervisor Beatty.
Yeah, 542, obviously I'm gonna vote yes. We're 80-something% of the work done. To put anybody on that committee now is a huge disservice to that individual, as they've missed over a year of meetings. They've missed over all the applications and scoring applications. They've missed all that, and to bring someone on at the absolute 11th hour is a disservice to that individual, much less the ability to catch up. And so,
Thank you.
you know, it's a no-brainer.
Thank you. Any other?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, if I may respond.
Yes, Ms. Kramer, though.
Thank you. I have a little bit different take. I'm not opposed to adding someone, but I would ask that you support the slate that we have today. If we want to bring someone through the ARPA committee and propose them to be added later and bring them forward, I would not be opposed to that, but I don't understand why you wouldn't allow the committee, why you wouldn't vote for this slate to go forward and have the committee continue functioning. We are almost 80% done, I think. We only have a few applications left and some other outstanding items related to the EMS situation that was discussed at the last school board meeting, and then we'll be pretty much done, although, you know, there may be some straggling things happening after that. So I would ask for everyone to support the slate that's currently working and functioning as the committee.
Supervisor Leggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to clarify resolution number 545, as was brought up about amending tables of organization, salary and compensation to increase salaries for the public defender's office. You notice the difference in that is a $5,720. This did not meet the deadline for getting that raise that everybody else had gotten because the position was not filled at the time. So it's not a mid-year increase per se.
Supervisor McDevitt.
Jumping back to 535 again, I'm a little concerned about the wording of the resolution as proposed. It's a resolution requiring and directs all Warren County employees to complete the annual training. Nobody disagrees with diversity, equality, and inclusion in terms of, you know, what people ought to recognize and in their lives and support. I think a more appropriate way of handling this issue is we ought to encourage department heads to conduct diversity, equality, and inclusion training and try to figure out what's the most effective way of achieving this worthy goal. No mandates, no absolute requirements. Leave the responsibility to department heads, incorporate those kind of issues into each department head's plan as they go forward. And I'm looking for the most effective and way to get employees to get on board with this whole process. I don't think mandating or directing that to be done is the most effective way. The most effective way, in my opinion, is that we encourage department heads to incorporate that into their plan as they go forward, and that's the most effective way of doing it. So as it's worded now, I'll vote no on the issue.
Supervisor Hogan, did you have a comment?
I did. I'm very sorry, but I respectfully disagree. I would like to think that we have been encouraging. In fact, I'd frankly be horrified if we weren't already encouraging this kind of training. But I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, if that's what we have been doing, we are failing. So I think it's time to mandate.
Any other comments?
Let's go.
Okay, I guess we'll vote on resolutions.
Right, resolution 520, making supplemental appropriations. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover.
Yeah.
Mr. Leggett,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yes.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 521, amending Warren County budget for 2022 for various departments within Warren County. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Runyon.
Yes.
Mr. Conover.
Yes.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier.
Yes.
Mr. Drossy.
Yes.
Ms. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson.
Yes.
Mr. Merlino.
Yes.
Mr. Stroud.
Yes.
Mr. Wild.
Yes.
Mr. McGowan.
Yes.
Mr. Beatty.
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 535, Resolution requiring that all Warren County employees complete an annual diversity, equity, and inclusion training. Mr. Thomas,
I concur with Supervisor McDevitt. I think it should be encouraged, not mandated. I vote.
Ms. Runyon,
No.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
No.
Ms. Bramer,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
No.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
No.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
No.
Mr. Merlino,
No.
Mr. Stroud,
No.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yeah.
Before I vote, I'd like to say this. We had an incident last year. And I asked this board to, everybody should take the diversity training that was offered. I don't know how many of you did it, but I did. I spent the time and I took the diversity training. I'm not here to judge anybody else. I believe that common sense is the way to go with Minnesota's training. I think being forced to take training, it would be okay. It didn't bother me. I spent the time, I did it. I don't know if any of you else, because I asked that we all should do this. So that's the reason why I'll vote yes for this. Although I do think common sense should really enter into all our decisions when we're dealing with other people. So, but like I said, I took the training, so I'm voting yes.
That resolution passes with 598 votes in favor. Resolution 542, amending resolution number 12 of 2022, reappointing members to the ARPA Advisory Committee to update committee membership. Mr. Thomas,
Well. Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
No.
Mr. Wild,
No.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes with 735 votes in favor. Resolution 545, amending tables of organization in Warren County Salary and Compensation Plan. This is for the Public Defender's Office. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
I will vote yes, given the info from our acting county administrator. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yes.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 547, amending tables of organization in Warren County and salary compensation for 2022. This is salary increases for the sheriff's office. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yes.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 549, increasing capital project H414 Airport Runway Remarking Program. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yeah.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 550, increase in capital project H417 jail abatement and demolition. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy.
Yes.
Ms. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson.
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yeah.
Mr. Wild.
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Skip forward. Resolution 555, authorizing our ARPA funds disbursement to White House. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon. Yes. Mr. Conover.
Yeah.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier.
Yes.
Mr. Drossy.
Yes.
Ms. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson.
Yes.
Mr. Merlino.
Yes.
Mr. Stroud.
Yes.
Mr. Wild.
Yes.
Mr. McGowan.
Yes.
Mr. Beatty.
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 556, authorizing ARPA funds disbursement to Look Media Resource. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Leggett,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yes.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty,
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 557, authorizing ARPA funds disbursement to Employee Assistance Program of Warren, Washington, and Saratoga counties. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover.
Yeah.
Mr. Leggett.
Yeah.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy.
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yeah.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty.
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 558, authorizing ARPA funds disbursement to Brayton Psychological Services. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Runyon,
Yes.
Mr. Conover.
Yeah.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy.
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson.
Yeah.
Mr. Merlino,
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yes.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty.
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. The next roll call is the combined one for resolutions 561 through 569. That's increasing and establishing various capital projects, appropriation of funds from the Up Yonder Reserve, and an appropriation of funds from the general fund to the sheriff's budget for salary increases. Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Runyon.
Yes.
Mr. Conover.
Yeah.
Mr. Leggett.
Yeah.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt,
Yes.
Ms. Bramer,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll,
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Drossy,
Yes.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson.
Yeah.
Mr. Merlino.
Yes.
Mr. Stroud,
Yeah.
Mr. Wild,
Yes.
Mr. McGowan,
Yes.
Mr. Beatty.
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
All of those resolutions passed. Resolution 574. This is authorizing the lease agreement with Skimmerhorn Aviation for construction of a 3-bay T hangar at the Floyd Bennett Memorial Airport. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Runyon.
Yes.
Mr. Conover.
Yeah.
Mr. Leggett.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt.
Yes.
Ms. Bramer.
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Mrs. Frazier.
Yes.
Mr. Drossy.
Yes.
Ms. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Dickinson.
Yes.
Mr. Merlino.
Yes.
Mr. Stroud.
Yeah.
Mr. Wild.
Yes.
Mr. McGowan.
Abstain.
Mr. Beatty.
Yes.
Chairman Garrity.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Collective on the rest.
A motion to approve the rest of the resolution. Motion by Supervisor Stroud. Do we have a second?
Max.
Supervisor Drossy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Everything passes. Thank you.
Over now.
Privilege of the floor and public comment. Yes, Supervisor.
I do have a couple of questions. One is on 540 about the payroll expenses to the town of Warrensburg. I'm happy to support that. I just think that in the future, instead of having that money come out of airport contract, we should look at taking that out of occupancy tax.
I had nothing to do with that. You have to ask the DPW.
And my other question is for the county attorney, in the changes that were passed to the rules of the board, it does talk about the ability for a majority of the supervisors to ask for a special meeting. I think we should have kept the second meeting because every time this year we have used that second meeting to do important county business. And I want to know if the answer is that a majority of the members of the body, meaning people? Or is it a majority of the weighted voting? And if you need to get back to me, that's okay. I'm not going to call a meeting tomorrow.
I cannot answer that question as I sit here now, so I will get back to you and the entire board with an
I
answer.
believe Amanda.
I would say that at the board level, it's always a majority of the weighted vote. So you would need a majority of the board, but I mean, I would refer to Larry and let him look into that.
was a vote.
to make sure.
Any other comment? Supervisor Moreno?
I know we all did a whole vote on 570, but the gentleman is sitting here and they don't understand what we did. But to let them know that a yes vote was for everybody, even though we didn't specifically count that resolution. So don't get nervous.
All the resolutions passed. Any other public comment? Supervisor?
Thank you, Chairman. At last month's board meeting, Supervisor Seaver forwarded a proclamation announcing that the month of October is National Domestic Violence Community Awareness Month. I've brought a T-shirt that I no longer can fit into the display. But I've also shared some resources, some flyers and a letter from the local domestic violence services agency at Catholic Charities with each member of the Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Brainberg?
I just have an announcement too that Special Olympics New York Fall Games are
That's it.
today. I don't, if someone else has the details, I forget what they are for tonight.
Yes, it starts tonight, Friday night, the 21st, and Brad is going down to speak on behalf of the Board of Supervisors again. There's a reception at 5:30, starts at the Gold Room in Queensbury. Then at 7 o'clock, they have the opening ceremonies, I believe, at City Park in Glens Falls. So Brad is going to be there representing Warren County. He's graciously. And then tomorrow, the competition starts on the 22nd, and it's at many, many venues around the area. So we wish them all the best. I know it brings in a lot of athletes, and we're proud to be supporters of that. Anybody else? Supervisor Hogan?
For those who supported the DEI resolution, I thank you. For those who didn't, I want to offer a small piece of information and then a solution to a problem that we have. Over the last few years, I started to notice repeatedly that certain supervisors were being called by the wrong name. So I started to keep track at the beginning of this year. Since January 1st, of the meetings that I've observed, 30 times we've called one another by the wrong name. 26 of those instances were men calling women the wrong name. 4 times were men calling other men the wrong name. I know a lot of you are data-driven people, and it was suggested to me that these were simply senior moments. Now, for those who are data-driven, that doesn't line up, does it? In fact, only 5 of the members of this board are women. So if this were simply senior moments, wouldn't it be roughly 3 to 1 that men would be called by the wrong name? I'd like to suggest that while not intentional, I'm not saying anybody's doing this intentionally. It's disrespectful still, and it's being done more to women than it is to men. So I have a simple solution. If we could simply refer to one another as supervisor or by our honorific titles like doctor or attorney, it would even the playing field. It would stop us from using first names, which we really shouldn't be anyway. But it would definitely even the playing field. We simply call one another supervisor. It's a very simple solution, and I ask you to join me in that practice. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other comments?
So thanks.
Motion to adjourn.